It is a week that we've been looking for the founder or founders of Ghana. Just when you thought that controversy around that subject was over, the apostrophe has become very significant in a debate the whole of this week. Whether, if you write founders, the apostrophe should be after the S or before the S. The NPP government has changed it for the apostrophe to come after the S. Previously, the NDC had put the apostrophe before the S. Nana Akufo-Addo stirred that debate. We're not going to talk about that here. It's not really the big issue we're looking at, but it's just something that we want you to consider. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou. Some of you, I think my regular co-anchor has run away. He's gone. I don't know what he's going to do, but the first co-host of this show, Bernard Kokwavle, is joining us. Hello, Ben.
The first shall be last, and
you
the last shall be
You
first.
ran away and you are back.
I'm back with a bang.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How has the week been? I mean, I was just mentioning the Founders Day thing.
You know, they say a week is a long time in politics in Ghana. A week is an eternity. Because I think last week we had a big story of the Atufos ambulance.
Yeah.
We hadn't finished digesting that. We went on weekend break, Founders Day, President drops a bombshell. We have not finished digesting that. Airbus
has come.
My God, I don't know, by tomorrow morning something else will happen.
But you were on TV with a historian trying to put
Yes.
this whole Founders thing into perspective
Yes.
on point of view.
Yeah.
Does it mean we've settled the debates?
As far as I'm concerned, the evidence is put out is very strong. Maybe I need to get Professor Michael Quay to come and rebut, because this guy walked me through the big six from their beginning, and he basically says the construct called Ghana, it was Nkrumah who founded it.
Interesting.
That's what he said.
Even though they will tell you that the name was provided by JB.
No,
it's really a...
he's ended the argument as far as I'm concerned. And August 4 cannot be Founders Day in a unifying sense. It can be Founders Day by law, as the law has said, but in actual sense, it's going to be difficult to accept.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then on the Airbus thing that Bernard just mentioned, so if you're just tuning in and you're not following the news is that the special prosecutor has called a press conference, at which press conference he announced that Government Official 1, which has been the nickname of someone alleged to have engaged in corrupt activities in relation to the purchase of some aircraft for Ghana, it's more than 10 years ago, 2009, thereabout, when the deal started, or 2008 actually. There's been rumors and suspicion that it's John Mahama. The NPP has mentioned John Mahama as a guy who is a Government Official 1. The OSP has come out today to say, yes, indeed, it is true, John Mahama is Government Official 1. However, I have not found any dirt on him to prosecute him. So John Mahama is as clean as a whistle when it comes to the issue of Airbus, except that his name is Government Official 1. So that's just by way of update. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're looking at polling. Polling is very important. Exit polls, polls generally on so many things. When Kamala Harris chose his running mate, immediately the polls will tell us how they will do. The UK, everywhere, polling is working. And that's why we like to be heavy on polls on this show since we started. So we have two polls that we're going to analyze for you today on the show. One looking at a national picture about voting intentions and patterns of Ghanaians ahead of the elections. And we'll go to the heart of the NPP, the Ashanti region, where we have another poll coming from. So please stay tuned in. We're going to tell you what people are saying. You're welcome back. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne Television. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou, and I'm doing this with Bernard Kokwavle. So, like I said, we're going to talk about polls. In fact, Musa Dankwa is here with us. We'll talk about something he has done on the Ashanti region. Remember last week we did the northern region and told you which candidates and which MPs from the NPP side should be worried ahead of the elections in the northern region. So we'll talk about that. But before then, let's go to the national poll that has been done on what Ghanaians are thinking and what the picture is looking like. Bernard, tell us about this other person who did this poll and what have they been saying?
I choose to call it a survey, not a poll, because a poll is a term of art. So a survey, of course, whether it's a poll or a survey, the sample size is the issue. Now, this group is called the Executive Forum. They've been conducting surveys since, at least for the election, since January 2022.
Okay.
So this is the fourth. They did October 2023, December 2023, and now they've done July 2024. Now, what's different between what these people do and what Musa does, that Musa sends people to the field and they talk to people face to face, and they have a system of reporting quickly. This team, they use WhatsApp groups and Facebook pages. They send over 300 surveys to individuals and groups who agree to participate. Then the people fill and send back. So every poll is only as useful as its sample. And then you need to interpret it based on where the information came from. So that's why I don't want to call it a poll, I want to call it a survey.
Okay.
Now, so in this particular...
What was their focus?
So yeah, voting intentions, as you rightly said. So basically, they want to gather insights into key aspects of the electoral process, focusing on preferences for potential candidates. So they don't want John Mahama, NDC, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, MPP, independent candidate Alan John Chamating. And this is the fourth. And basically, they sent out these surveys and got over 327 individuals who agreed to participate. So that's how the sample is.
So the sample size is what?
327 individuals.
Okay.
Demographically aged between, of course, they are all voting age. Some are first-time voters, some are older people.
I mean, this is a question that's always asked, and Musa is here, so and when you talk to them, 327 out of, is it an area they went to do this sampling, or
no? So this
nationwide?
is social. So this is, that's why I said this is
social WhatsApp group.
Yes, so WhatsApp and Facebook. So this is, don't forget, I have there are Facebook models for predicting elections. So Maximus Ametogo, since 2016, has used a Facebook data model to predict elections accurately. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that the way information is changed and the way people consume news, there are many ways of getting public sentiment. The other thing is that you can use different surveys together to get meaning into how people intend to vote, right? So there's the only thing that talks to everybody is a census, which is why it is a term of art, census. Everything else is a survey. Do you follow me? So this one uses Facebook and WhatsApp groups selected. So it's a very, you can call it biased sample. But it's good to interpret it in relation to its bias. Do you understand? So you don't go and say, all Ghanaians say they will vote.
Yeah.
You use the sample and then you use that to describe what specifically you are targeting.
Okay.
Which is what I'm trying to say.
So they have done a sample. Did they tell you that? So the methodology is what you just explained.
Yes.
Now let's look at the key things that they have found.
So basically, in all their 4 surveys, the NDC candidate was leading. So basically, the key highlights is that the NDC candidate, John Mahama, maintains his lead in the polls. And the other point is that he's made some gains compared to the last time they did the survey, which was December 2023. They also presented their data in both weighted and unweighted conclusions. So
that's what you have on the screen.
Yes.
Bernard.
So key point, 78% of the voters in that survey say nothing will change their mind about their chosen candidate. 12.5% say they will not cast their vote, which is quite interesting. That's a big number. And then 6% are undecided about participating in the election. And then they did what is called a weighted presidential sample and an unweighted. If the team comes, they will explain. But basically, the question is asked, if the elections were held today, who would you cast your vote for? In the unweighted, 56% said they would vote for the NDC candidate.
Explain the difference between, so it's on the screen now, weighted and weighted. If the presidential election were held today, who would you cast your vote for?
Yes, so for that one, 56% said they would vote for John Mahama, 32% said they would vote for Dr. Bawumia, and then Alan had 3%, and then 8.9% said they would vote for somebody else.
Can you explain why this is blue, this orange? What does it mean?
No, we are just differentiating the weight from the unweighted.
Okay.
So when you weight it, you see, you are trying to tidy up the excesses. Weight is just the raw data you use. But if you want to say, so let me give you an example. You do a survey of 500 people, and they say something. 400 of them say something. 400 over 500 is a percentage. But you can use the distribution of the voters among the 500, representing where they are. So the weighted gives you a more accurate representation.
Okay.
So when you weight it, 51.2, so basically the 56 comes out 51.2, or basically 52% for the NDC candidate.
After cleaning it up.
And then, thank you, 32% for the MPP candidate. And then others gets to 12. The key point is that even when you weight it, these respondents seem to suggest that there will be no runoff. These respondents seem to suggest that there will be no runoff.
Okay, so I don't see Nana, what's his name? Cheddar in
No,
here. So he's using Alan.
So when we speak to him, he will explain why he used the methodology he used. I find this quite significant, this 12%.
Others.
So who says somebody else? So let's talk to him. I think...
you have him?
He's joining us. Baba Akum Awasena is joining us. He is the lead researcher for the group called the Executive Forum. He will answer your question. I think you have lots of questions for him.
Please,
so maybe you ask him.
No, you put it to him.
No. Baba, welcome to the show. Umaru has a lot of questions, which we think you should answer. Thanks for joining us. So he wants to know who the Executive Forum is and why on earth we should take your survey seriously.
Okay. Sincerely speaking, we have been in existence since 2012 on WhatsApp. Prior to that, we were mostly on what I would describe as a BlackBerry Messenger. We are a group of persons. All of us are Ghanaians. That's one, originally. Secondly, most of us are based in Accra. Thirdly, we are persons who work in the mining and the banking sector. A good chunk of us are Cuban trained. And sincerely speaking, it is a non-partisan group. We have two persons who have ever vied for positions in parties, one in NDC and one in NPP, and they both lost. Clearly on our forum, both tendencies exist. But the clearest thing about the group is that they have mostly attempted to put Ghana first. So there are a lot of technical and arguments that take place, or professional arguments that discussions that take place. And how do we get our membership? We don't go local.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's enough of that. I want to know why you use the method you use. Why are you using WhatsApp groups and Facebook pages for a survey on voter intentions? We would have thought you would go to the people in their houses and ask them, why are you using WhatsApp and Facebook page for this?
Basically, the reason is you would need a lot of resources to go out there. That's one key thing. The other factor is the people having phones. It is getting wider and wider and wider. And if you go globally, people are beginning to think of, what if COVID stops us from moving? How do we get that information? So technically, people are moving in that direction today, moving towards phone surveys. Even demographic surveys, people are thinking of phones. If you are in some of the developed countries, even census is not done the way we do at home.
Okay.
So people are moving out of that. I wish I could have posted this directly to houses or homes for them to respond, but we do not have that access.
So in terms of your sampling, you send the questionnaire to WhatsApp groups and to Facebook pages, and then what happens? Those who respond become your sample? Is that how it works?
Yes. When we send them there, we urge people to send them to other fora as well.
Good. So what would you consider to be enough for you to generalize on? Because in this particular case, you got 329 completed surveys. What does that mean for generalization? Is there a number we should look out for that would make it a more representative survey?
Well, the key thing you have to look at is that you have to understand the concept of trends. You have to understand the concept of trends. Even if I got 2,000 people, there is no guarantee that they cover the population of Ghanaians. There is no guarantee.
Okay.
So you have to understand the limitation of online surveys, and you also have to understand the limitation of self-administered questionnaire in our context. So there are those limitations. But what you have to look out here is the basic pointers. And then when you do that, you have to also reflect, how does it compare to other online surveys?
Okay.
You have to reflect on that. And you should not fall short of telling people the limitation of your study.
Wonderful. So you've done this survey 4 times, January 2022, October 2023, December 2023, and now July 2024. what have you found in the 4 by way of trends? And are those 4 comparable, by the way? Did you get the same sampling for the 4? How comparable are the 4? And what trends have you found in the 4 you've done?
Okay, I have no reason to think otherwise that it's not from the same population. But I'm not talking of the same individual. I'm talking from the same population. I have no reason to think otherwise.
Good.
Because I throw it out in the same way. So the trend basically has shown that over time, the political situation is stabilized, especially if you look at JM, John Mahama, I call him JM. You would see that somewhere in January, he was high up in around 71%, and it has gotten stabilized around 56, 51 there around. And when NPP ended up with their candidate, you would also see that their candidate, BM, Bawumia, is also have gotten to a level at around 31, 32%. The key thing here is look at the other parties. In terms of other parties, I keep talking of, I don't include Alan in the other parties for now, because I clearly had information on Alan from the beginning. I had information on Alan from the beginning. That is survey 1, survey 2, I had information on Alan. So I kept Alan at this stage as one individual.
So when you started, because we didn't know Cheddar, you just had a group called Others. So even though Cheddar is now in the race, he's still part of Others. But Alan was there from the beginning, which is why you've done him wonderful. So you're saying Mahama has stabilized around the mid-50s, and Bawumia, since he was elected, has been in the early 30s. This is what you're saying. What does the 12% of Others say to you? Is that the same as, I don't know, I won't vote, or I just want somebody else?
I just want somebody else is the information. They don't even like, those people don't, they are going to vote somebody else other than the 3 who have their names there.
So it could be Cheddar, it could be Umaru Sanda, it could be anybody?
Yes, but not the 3 who have their names there.
Do you expect this trend to change before December?
Sincerely speaking, I expect it to change slightly. And that is my expectation. And I'm even considering that. I expect it to change slightly.
Do you compare? Do you compare your results with other surveys, and does it agree? Because you are saying Mahama is going to win in a first round election. This is what your survey is saying. How does this compare with other polls you've looked at?
Yes, there is a global analytics. Sometimes I discuss with Musa. Yeah. Musa seems to have the same trend. That is one. Sometimes I read other surveys too that come online. But sincerely speaking, this is the first time. I mean, my third survey did not really reflect what Musa found. My third survey did not reflect what Musa found. In a sense that I said that if there were weights, then there will be a rerun. But the fourth survey really shows, even if there were weights or we weighted it, they will technically not be a rerun.
Well, Musa is here, so he'll comment on your survey when we come back from the break, because he's done this quite a lot. And of course, he actually goes to people on the ground. So it'll be interesting to see what he thinks about your survey. But are you going to do another one before the election?
We are going to do another one before the election. And we are hoping that people will help us throw it more out and out.
To increase your sample size. Wonderful.
To increase the sample size.
Thank you, Baba Akuma Vieka. He is the principal for Executive Forum. Omar Sanda has been looking at me strangely.
I have one question for him if he is not gone. Baba, are you still there?
I'm still sitting here.
You said that you forecast a change in the trend that you're seeing.
Slightly.
Ahead of the election. In whose favor would that trend be? Would it be more for Mahama or less for Mahama?
No, technically what I meant was that I see the other group gaining a bit more. The other group gaining a bit more. So what I'm suspecting is that the Mahama numbers would slightly drop, but it wouldn't go below 50%.
But you see that, Baumia, if you can come back, you see that the Mahama trend is dropping since your first survey, 71 to stabilizing around 55. Baumia is increasing because your first survey, he wasn't yet candidate. He's now gone up to 32. So now that he's campaigning more vigorously, do you expect him to move up slightly based on the trend?
The issue is, if he's moving up slightly, he's most likely going to take it from Alan. Alan, yeah, and Alan doesn't have enough.
Alan doesn't have enough. Okay. And these guys don't want to go anywhere. They want to stay here.
I was actually going to go to those. Baba, the others, do you plan to demystify them? Do you want to put a name there, hence, so that instead of having just others, you put at least one or two of the people we know who want to be president, maybe so that you can be sure that these others were actually this person or this person all this while?
Yeah, I was thinking of that, but I was also thinking of, you have to be sure that you will pass the Electoral Commission standards.
Okay.
I was thinking of that.
But no one is a candidate technically, if you were to speak legally and technically. None of these persons. John Mahama is not, even though he's been before, and because Baumia is vice, he's qualified to be president. Alan has not been tested in the Electoral Commission's sense of presidential candidate. So if you've added Alan, then add the others. I mean, just for let's understand what the people think, even if the candidates may not be clear.
Add Cheddar. We want to see what Cheddar would do.
Yeah. You should
no,
do that.
I would add them and would see it all. But what you have to realize is that technically in data systems, there will always be others. So I would add those that I think are gaining some weight from the media and all those things, and then we'll see how it goes.
Two things before you go. The credibility of the people you have that you sample. So it's a WhatsApp group, it's a Facebook page. It could be a bot, it could be a real human being. How do you prove that these persons are real human beings?
Okay. If it is a bot, it will repeat several times. It has to be very clever, which in most cases they are, to do it. And if it is a bot, it will not just give me only one record. It would like to even give me thousands and thousands of records.
Okay.
So as at now, I don't think it is going in that direction.
Very well. And
the worry I have is if people decide to go multiple times, individuals decide to go multiple times. Yeah, I have a basic way of controlling that.
Okay.
A basic way of controlling that, and I haven't noticed that yet.
Okay.
The truth about it is, you have to give a bit of trust. If I see any trend and I become suspicious, I would really announce it, and I would not publish.
Okay.
Senseless.
If I say to a layman that this is what you have found, and the person asks me, how many people did he speak to? And I say a little over 300. The person will say, oh, but how can you take that seriously? What are you going to do with your sample size? I know you statistics people have your own reasoning for choosing numbers. The sample size, do you want to increase it in the future, or you think this is a very fair representation?
I wish it could increase, but I don't control it.
Very well. Thank you.
Because I just throw it out.
Okay.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Have a good day. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
So you're watching the Situation Room on ChannelOne television. We'll take a break. When we come back, Musa Dankwa is in studio. He has done some work on the Ashanti region. We'll talk about that and also ask him to comment on this particular survey that we just discussed. Yeah, welcome back. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne television. My name is Umaru Sandamadu, doing this with Bernard Kokwavle. Just gone by, we interviewed someone who has done a survey on the elections, and based on the sample he interviewed, things looking good for John Mahama there in the elections. But of course, he says that he's going to bring more surveys before we get into the election, so we see more results coming up. In studio, I have with me Musa Dankwa. He's the head of the Global Info Analytics. Last week, he was with us via Zoom, where we talked about the trend that he has seen in the northern region for MP parliamentary candidates. Today, he has a focus on the Ashanti region, but that's for the presidential candidates. We'll talk about that. Musa, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Before then, we just spoke to Baba, who actually mentioned that the two of you talk, and it's good to see that statistics people or people who do polling talk to each other.
We talk behind the scenes.
You talk behind the scenes.
Query some of the things.
What do you make of the trend he has published? It tallies with yours?
It's very interesting that, He said in the beginning of his poll, Mahama was in the high 70s and now in the mid 50s using unweighted, or 51% using weighted. If you look at our trending for our elections in Ghana, it has been the same.
If it's going up, it's going up. If it's
Yes,
going down, it's going down.
Absolutely.
But nothing like, okay.
It's going the same. And another thing he mentioned that is quite interesting that I heard him mention is that Alan and Bawumia are trading votes. When Alan goes up, Bawumia comes down. If Bawumia goes up, Alan comes down. And I think we will see some of this evidently in the numbers we're going to show in Ashanti region.
Does it then mean that Alan is truly a problem for the NPP?
I mean, it is absolutely no doubt.
In Ashanti or nationally?
Everywhere in the country where you see Bawumia drop numbers, the number drops for Alan and Nana Kwame Bediako.
You have something you do undecided. He didn't do that. He used others. I was asking him to try and review who the others are. Do you get a sense who these others may be? Because you have been using cheddar sometimes in your polls.
No, you see, we have a model we call maybe likely voters model, and then what we call the committed voter model. What he has used is committed voters model, which means people who want to vote, and excluding those who are saying maybe they will not vote or are undecided. Now, that's why on that basis the sample reduced to 260 something, but the broader sample includes undecided and I will not vote. Now, if you use what we call the voters model, the entire model, it means that the views of those who said I won't vote will be there, you see the number, and those who said undecided will also be there. But on the election day, you can't come and say I will not vote, or you can't come and say I'm undecided. When you come there, you make your views known, and that's what he got there.
I see. Musa, the honesty of the people who answer these questions very critical. Are they very honest? Can you really trust what they are saying?
What we have found is that, in fact, in the field, they are more dishonest in the field than when they are on their own privately. Now, if you ask them questions that make them feel a bit unease, they take a position that may not be what they intend to do. So what we do is that we give them options. Even if they don't want to be untrue, they shouldn't lie.
Okay. Okay.
So we say Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, and others. If he doesn't want to tell you what he wants to do, he will say others.
Okay.
He won't say Bawumia when he means Mahama.
Okay.
They normally don't do that.
Okay. Okay. I see. Now let's talk about what you have done. What's the work that you did in Ashanti?
This is the Ashanti region. You know, when they announced NAPO as running mate for Bawumia, we did a poll about a few days after that announcement to see what was the reception for the announcement of NAPO in the region and the likelihood of being voting for MPP in huge numbers as they anticipated. So we went there, and the numbers were clear at the time. So we have a baseline for Ashanti region when the announcement was made. But people said, oh, it's too early. So we went back again, nearly a month after that announcement, to see whether the views have changed. And if they have changed, is it in the right direction or in the opposite direction?
Okay.
So basically, that's why we went there.
Right. So show us, please.
So one of the few questions we asked them is that the views about the performance of the president. That's one of the key questions we asked, because once they approve the president, they tend to approve his successor. So if you look at the numbers in Ashanti region, 56% of the voters in Ashanti region approve of the way Nado is doing his job. But a whopping 42 disapprove his performance. And 2% did not have an opinion. So you could see that even though it's approved, but not by huge margin. So
in Ashanti, that's not good for
That's
him.
not good. Now, we also asked them about the standard of living, because you see, the standard of living of voters is also crucial in how they will vote in the election. So this has been a regular question we've been asking for the past 31 months. Every time we go, we ask this question, just to see whether things are getting better. Because when things get better, your chance of winning the election as an incumbent party increases. Now, in the, I think...
So yeah, are you trying to speak to this, or you're moving forward?
Hold on. I think standard of living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last 12 months.
Hey, this crazy.
No, I think go back one step. Go back one. No, back.
No, the heading and the...
No, go back one step. Let's see something. One more. Good. This is what you're trying to talk to. Or
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Compared to
But
the year before, which of the following best describes
the keys are probably showing something different. That's what I'm really surprised
okay.
at. But I think.
Okay, there's a mix-up because it has
Mix up
senior high
somewhere in
schools.
the.
Okay. Then go forward to
Okay,
the graph that would look more.
Okay, let's look at the Napoleon or Napo's nomination. I think that from here.
His name is not a short form of Napoleon.
Okay, Matthew
Nanapoku. Not Bonaparte.
When we went there the first time, 62% of Ashanti voters said that they are likely going to be influenced to vote for the MPP because of Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And then 21% said unlikely to be influenced to vote for MPP because of him. And then neutral was 17%. When we went back again, those who said they are likely going to be influenced to vote for MPP because of him has dropped to 58%. So he has dropped 4% in the Ashanti region during the second period of polling. And those who said they are unlikely to be influenced to vote for him shot up from 21 to 29%. This is a warning sign that something may be going wrong in the region. And then neutral has gone down from 17% to 13%. So it means that the currency of Napo within the period hasn't gelled the way it should. This should have been going up, not coming down.
So he has some work to do.
Yes.
Okay. Which of the following running mates do you believe can do a better job as a vice president if elected? Okay, this one too has been.
But yeah, the chart is a bit weird. That's crazy. Okay, let's start from here. Okay. Here we asked them about the who is the best president ever in Ashanti region.
Best ever president.
Yes.
Founder. Let's go.
Kufuor topped them all in Ashanti region.
Okay.
52% of the mention was Kufuor. And then Kwame Nkrumah, 42%. Then you have, this has gone down, probably Jerry Rawlings.
No, so come here, look here. Okay. So Kwame Nkrumah is 42.
Yes.
Kufuor, 52.
So you can see, and Nana Addo is 28%. So I think first is Kufuor, followed by Kwame Nkrumah, and then Nana Addo. Then you have Jerry Rawlings. Then you have Atta Mills, and then Mahama, and then Akufo-Addo's father, and Hillary Mann last.
Okay. So, but NDC under John Mahama had some ambitious plan of getting 1 million votes. And clearly that, well, I mean, I don't know, but this is a current thing, not the last election, what they were
No, this talks about the most best ever and second best president who have been democratically elected in the country.
I think this is fair.
Okay.
Let's go. Next one. So, yeah. No. I think you should go.
Yeah, but it's kind of.
Is this okay?
Okay. It's really messed up the presentation. I don't know whether.
I think if you. How about this? Would this help?
Okay. Let's stand here. Maybe here. Okay, let's stand here. Here, we want to zoom into the actual elections with regards to voting intention of the people in the Ashanti region. We are all aware that they want to hit 85%. 85%. Now, if you look at the trend historically, from 1996, when Kufuor was running, they hit 65.8%. And then 2000 election, 74.8%, 2004, 77%, 2008, MPP 72.5, and 2012, 70.9, 2016, 76.3, and then 2020, 72.8. So if you look at the trend curve in the Ashanti region, the curve is trending downwards, not upwards. So if you look at those historical performance, it's a downward trend that we are seeing.
After Kufuor's exit.
Yes, and an NDC kind of stable. You see, the NDC trend curve is stable here. Now, for you to move from 72.8 to 80 or is it 85%, let's see the next chart.
Okay.
Right. See, they want to move from 72 to 85%. When the trend curve is showing the reverse. So it is really riding against the wind.
And they haven't reached 80 before?
No. So
they are way below?
They are way below the target by almost, 13% or 12%, 12.something%. And for them to achieve that target, it means NDC has to drop to around
To 12.
12.5% or 13%.
And that would be a big loss for the NDC.
That would be a total collapse. And
in Ashanti.
considering the fact that this is already a tough year for MPP nationally, economic crisis, all the issues that is really the headwind is against them. So for them to achieve this, it is really going to be a monumental task from that point.
NDC was in the Ashanti doing a walk over the weekend. Muntaka Mubarak, Haruna Idrisu, they were all there talking. This is just by way of news.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with your statistics. Okay, let's go forward.
So, I mean, they've averaged around 23, 25%. So for them to get to this number, because they have to get to this number for MPP to go to 85%.
So NDC's best performance was in 2012 in Ashanti. And that was MPP's worst performance, at least not 65.
Yes.
But, okay. And NDC has been stable.
It has been stable.
And based on the statistics, you say that it's going to take a lot of work for them to dip.
I mean, it is impossible. There's no way of
impossible.
saying it. It is impossible. If you look at the trend curve, the trend curve is showing downward. And the economy is not in a state that is in your favor to say that you ride at the economic performance to get this point.
And NAPO isn't helping matters.
No.
Based on what you have revealed.
Now, let's look at the actual numbers. When we ask voters, who would you vote for in the upcoming election?
In Ashanti region.
In the Ashanti region. Mahama, 23.7%. You have Baumia, 65.4%. 9.2% Alan Cheremachin. 0.7% Nana Kwambediaku, and others 1%.
How does this compare with what we've just seen? The
Absolutely.
23%?
So you can see that this is more realistic
than the 12% and the MPP was hoping to give NDC.
Absolutely.
And the 85% that it was hoping to get the
Absolutely.
NPP.
From here, they are almost how many percentage down from the target? A whopping
From 85?
20% down.
That's a lot.
Yes. And you know, in elections, numbers don't move beyond 3, 4, 5%. It doesn't happen like that. Now, let's look at what happened the period before. The period before, Mahama was on 15%. Baumia, 73%. 9% Alan Cheremachin. 2% Anakwam Bediaku. 1% others. Now, you see where Mahama is. 23.
That's a huge leap.
Plus 8.7%. Baumia drops 65.4%. Down 7.6%.
This is just between July and August.
Yes, yes. Bediaku drops almost 1.3%. Others went up 0.1%. So you could see that Mahama has made gains on Baumia in the Ashanti region in the intervening period.
But the Baumia dip is huge.
It's huge. Now let's see where the source of the dip come from. Look at this by gender. Male supporting Mahama gone up 7.8%. Baumia down 4.4%. Alan down 2.9%. Bediaku down 1.1%. And the others went up 0.6%. So Mahama made gains on the male group 7.8%. When it comes to the female, Mahama went up 9.4%, much bigger. Baumia loses 11.9%. Alan gains 3.1%. Bediaku lost 0.9%. And the others gained 0.3%. Now, let's look at the age groups, demography. Among 18 to 25 or 24 years, Mahama gained 5.3%. Baumia dropped 7.8% among this younger voter group. We've seen him do well prior to that. Now he's declined. Alan does 7.1%.
So Alan's numbers higher there.
Yes.
Among those young people.
Bediaku begins to lose the younger voters.
In his home region.
Yes, he begins to lose them there. And then 25 to 35, Mahama gained 0.9%. 35 to 44, he gains 8.9. 45 to 54, he gains 9%. 55 to 64, he gains 8.3. And above 64, he gains 18%.
That's his highest.
That's the highest. Older group.
And I'm looking at Baumia, no gains. All are in the negative.
He declined entirely from the age demography. Now, interestingly, this is where, among people with various educational level, Mahama down among junior high qualifications. Baumia up 4%. Alan up 2%. Senior high, Mahama gains 7.5%. Baumia dropped 7.1%.
The free SHS people?
Yes.
Oh.
And in
Are you sure you told them it was Akufo-Addo's Baumia?
Look, crucially, among tertiary people, Mahama gained 15.6%. He normally doesn't do well among tertiary compared to Baumia, but now he's gaining ground in Ashanti region, 15.6%.
Within 1 month?
Yes. Baumia lost 13%, Alan lost 2%. And among those without education, Mahama gets 11.1% up, Baumia 10.9 down, Alan 1% down, Bediaku minus 3.3. Now, the whole story is here among party affiliation. That's where you see the effect of NAPO. Among those who are MPP and are supporting Mahama, they have declined by 0.6%. Those MPP that are supporting Baumia up by 2.1. It means that with regards to the MPP members in Ashanti region, NAPO likely to have added 2% to that number. Alan lost 1% among MPP voting Alan, and Bediakun lost 0.5%. So all this loss from Mahama, Alan, and Bediakun had gone to Baumia. Now, when you come to NDC, NDC voting Mahama has gone up 0.6, but NDC voting for Baumia has gone up 1.3%. And then NDC voting for Alan has gone down 1.3. So you can see that the movement from NDC to Baumia came from Alan. Those who were doing Alan in the prior period have now moved to Baumia, plus 1.3%. Now, floating voters, that's what the story is. Mahama is up 5.5 in the Ashanti region among Ashanti floating voters. Baumia is down 16.6% of Ashanti floating voters. Alan is up 13.2% among Ashanti floating voters. Bediakun 2.9 down. So you could see that NAPO has moved MPP base by 2%, but it has cost Baumia 16.6% of floating voters.
So Alan is still a big problem for, maybe perhaps the biggest problem for Baumia in the region, not even John Mahama.
Yes. And then among those who did not disclose a party affiliation, Mahama is down 7.4, Baumia is up 7.7 and 3.4. So overall, the movement along the floating block is what's caused Baumia the damage in the Ashanti region.
Interesting. I think this would be a good place to take a break. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne television. Musa Dankwa helping us with the latest poll he's conducted in the Ashanti region. When we come back, what are we going to look at? The next one would be intention. So who will you vote for? We'll give you the broad picture for the Ashanti region. Please stay. Yeah, welcome back. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne television. We are hosting Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics. Musa, before we went on the break, you told us the key things, what people were saying. The big question, the next big question was what? Whether
People have firmed up their vote or they are available to be persuaded to change their mind.
And what did they say?
And this is very crucial because if you are leading by a big margin, it means the higher the number of those who won't change their mind, it means your votes are locked.
You are safe.
You are safe. If you're not winning enough, it means it's not safe. So if you look at the Ashanti region, only 3.5% said they may change their mind or they are likely to change their mind between when we spoke to them and election day, December 7th.
So over 96 have made up their mind?
No, 87% said they have locked their vote. And 10% said neutral. They may or may not.
Okay.
And that number is not big enough to change a rapid number rapidly. The concern is that these guys have locked the votes and your campaign, whatever, will not make any difference to them.
Like pouring water on a stone.
Yes. That's the worrying bit from the Ashanti region. And then if you look at here, we compared Nanado's performance in 2020 elections to what the polls are saying now. So in the Nanado Baumia 2020, they got 73% in the Ashanti region. Mahama got nearly 25%, and others got 2%. Today, Baumia is getting 65%, down from 73%. Mahama is largely the same, just 24%, just 1% shy of what he got in 2020. So he's stable. And then the others up from 2% to 11%. This is where Alan and Bediakun are playing the...
So it's Bawumia's loss than it is JM's
absolutely,
gain.
because JM is stable. Bawumia has lost to Alan and Nana Kwame in the Ashanti region. This puts the race into perspective. See who is losing ground. Clearly, it is Bawumia that's losing ground in the Ashanti region. Now, we did... Okay.
What intentions?
Here, we ask people about whether they are enthusiastic about their candidate. How enthused are you with Mahama or Bawumia or Alan?
Extremely enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic, extremely enthusiastic. In Ashanti region, Mahama is 21%. 72% Bawumia, 6% Alan Martin, and the rest follow. For those who are somehow enthusiastic, Mahama 29%, Bawumia 59%, Alan 10%. Unenthusiastic, look at Mahama 24%, Bawumia 43%.
People who are not enthusiastic.
They know, but they are voting for him. It means that he has a problem.
It's not Chinchina.
No. And then Alan, 25%. Extremely unenthusiastic here. Alan Bediako leads 27%, and he on the same level as Mahama. See, these people, Mahama and Nana Kwame Bediako, share some characteristics in their voting demography. See, Alan and Bawumia are also sharing the same thing. When Mahama goes down, usually he goes down to Nana Kwame Bediako. If Bediako goes down, Mahama gains. And when Alan and Bawumia trade numbers, they both suffer or gain. This is the evidence pointing to that. Neither enthusiastic or unenthusiastic.
They are don't care people.
Look, 74% for DMB.
Wow.
Now, look at this. For those who said they are enthusiastic, 91% of Mahama people are enthusiastic. And the same 91 for Bawumia. Extremely or unenthusiastic, Mahama is 8%. Bawumia 5%. Alan 75, 20. It shows that Alan and Bediako votes is not really solid. That is why they will be trading numbers as time goes on. He needs to move this number to big 80s or 90s and reduce this guy's number so that he can have a conviction that these guys will vote for him. This has to go up. Look at Nana Kwame Bediako. He's doing well, but very few are committed. It means his votes will be up for grab. When he comes under pressure, his vote will split. And when the vote split, likely either they will stay at home or they will go to JM, as we've seen from the data. Let's look at party affiliation. 91% of MPP voters are enthusiastic about their candidate. 91. For NDC, it's 92%. So they have slight advantage over MPP who are enthusiastic about their candidate and voting for. And then floating voters, 71% of them are enthused about their candidate they have chosen. Other parties, 61%, not disclosed, 59%. Now, those who said they will not vote, only 18% of them said they are enthused about the candidates. Unenthusiastic, 62%. That's why they are not voting. Neither Mahama, Alan, or Bawumia enthused them. So, Abano Obonto. Neutral, 20% in the Ashanti region.
So that's your last slide. But Musa, yes. What this also brings up is the issue of apathy.
Yes.
It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem in the Ashanti region. Let me see. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
About 6% of Ashanti voters said they will not vote.
About 6%?
Yes.
And it is not in the interest of MPP
no.
for people in Ashanti not to show up?
No. If they decide to stay at home and your opponents show up, your opponent's vote gets more weight than yours.
Interesting. So try and whip people out. So it means MPP has a lot of work to first of all shore up the voting intents for Bawumia.
Absolutely.
And also for people to generally come out and vote.
So one, they must, because they need the numbers, they must whip people to come out and vote. And when they do come out to vote, they should not vote for Alan or Mahama. They must vote for their candidate. So they have a two tasks to do: whip people to come and vote, and then vote for their candidate and not anybody else.
Interesting, Bernard. So Musa has taken us through what he has found. I don't know which one jumps at you. But
No, for me, I think the July to August was an interesting transition because, as you know, the candidate running mate was announced in July. So it's early days. And you know that when it was announced, there was this whole bombastic Nkrumah thing, which has sort of been reinforced by the president's Nkrumah thing. So I think it's an interesting survey on particularly the question of who is the best president. Kufuor's influence in Ashanti is strong. Kwame Nkrumah coming second is interesting. I didn't hear Buzia's name mentioned, maybe because he was such a short time. Achampon's name was not there as well, which is interesting because I don't know whether...
We looked at democratically elected head of state.
Which is right. So but Buzia's name didn't show up.
He's a prime minister.
Oh, so
it wasn't president.
Oh, okay, that's why you did Akufa. Okay.
Yes.
I thought it would be interesting to use Buzia's name or just do an open-ended, whatever. Because clearly, Kufuor's influence is very strong in Ashanti region, and Kwame Nkrumah's name recognition is also very strong. But don't forget, campaigning is going on as well, and this is very fluid. So it'll be good to see what September also does. I like the fact that you do trend analysis for all the elections. So it seems as if NPP in Ashanti is 70 to 75. And then this is roughly around 25. So the 85 is an expectation. And the 6% apathy in Ashanti, it will be interesting to compare that to other regions as well. So there's a lot of thinking and work to be done everywhere else.
And also the national apathy picture is also something, so if you get from the region...
nationally, about 23% of our no-vote people are in Accra, and 22 are in Ashanti region.
So Accra and Ashanti are the
big I will not vote.
Meanwhile, the gap between NDC and NPP in Accra may not be as high as it is in Ashanti. So it's more of a challenge for NPP because they have more in Ashanti. In Accra, it's usually split. So
but it's a crucial vote for NPP in Accra as well. They can't ignore Accra.
A lot to look out for. When is your next survey?
Ashanti next will be in end of August to early September. But the national tracking poll will come out first week of October.
So clearly, as the polls are coming, you are gaining more insight.
Yes.
And for now, if we were to push you, who's going to win?
Presidential.
Yes.
The average poll says John Mahama. And I think he will average around 53.
It will not be a second round?
No.
Based on all the trends?
Yes, all the trends, yes.
Bernard, we have to leave.
No, great. I'll enjoy coming back. Have me more.
And the thing is that you're always doing galamsey. That's the problem. Getting you is difficult.
I'll blame my cover.
It's more slippery to get Bernard than to catch a mad
fish.
Yes, inside the muddy pool. But thank you. That's Bernard Avle, Musa Dankwa of the Global Info Analytics. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. We'll be back next week with Situation Room. Please stay with us.